All right, make sure you never, ever, ever do this in your marketing. Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Ligo here again, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the things that you should never stop doing in your marketing. That's right, never stop doing these particular things in your marketing. A lot of the times when you think about your marketing and things that you're supposed to do, you always have this rule set, right? You kind of got these pre-distinguished guidelines as the things you're always supposed to do, right? And I want to take it from a little bit of a different perspective today and talk about the things that you should not be doing, more specifically, the things you should never stop doing, because it's one of those things that there absolutely are some non-negotiables, right? Some key essentials that if you stop doing these things, it really could be detrimental. I'm going to dive in just a little bit by giving you 3 very quick and powerful things that you should never stop doing. In my mind, again, these are non-negotiables. Let's get right into it. Number 1, never stop publishing. That's right, never stop publishing. Now, publishing is the word that I like to use amongst other things, but the reality is there's many different names for this thing. There are several different names for what we call publishing. They're all the same animal, right? You can call it publishing, you can call it providing value, you can call it dropping content, you can call it posting content, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, this is putting content out there. So essentially content marketing. Publishing, again, is one of the common terms that I like to use, and I like the connotation that it provides because you want to think of it in the terms of an author, right? You're providing something very, very valuable out there. You're writing something, you're creating something, and ultimately this is something that someone will consume and eventually pay for. That's kind of the idea that you want to go ahead and have as you're putting stuff out there. Again, don't post just to post. Some people say, well, I do a lot of posting, and it's like, okay, well, what exactly are you posting? Are you creating value? Are you providing value? Are you actually creating something memorable, shareable, valuable in something? Again, are you doing any of these things that is actually going to sit in the minds of your prospect, right? That's what providing value and publishing is. So make sure that you never stop doing it. Now, the thing about publishing and providing content marketing, right? The thing about this is you want to be consistent in how you do it. And that's really is the most important thing. When I say never stop doing it, I'm not telling you how often to do it. Consistency is going to be the key though. So make sure that you just do it for however long you're doing it. And then you want to get better. You want to do more as time goes on. But again, the key is to never stop doing it. And far too often, this is the thing that breaks the camel's back, as it were. This is the thing that gets a lot of marketers to quit. And I've seen this time and time again throughout the years, right? A marketer will get started, let's call it MLM, network marketing, or maybe even affiliate marketing. They get started with a network, they get started with a certain organization, and it's like, okay, I want to go ahead and hit this hard. And oftentimes they will copy and paste a lot of the material that is provided to them by the company that they're supported by. That's fine, and that's well and good, although I think that you should be more creative and more personable with it. Fine, go ahead and swipe and deploy, as you know is commonly said in those industries. And then what happens, right? They hit it hard, they go ahead and post a bunch of stuff out there over time, and then it's like they dry up because they don't put in the time and the energy to come up with new content to post it, right? And so then they're relegated back to doing what they used to do before they became an entrepreneur, and that is just sharing stuff that other people are putting out there, and it's not even valuable. A lot of the times it's stuff that is meant for amusement as opposed to impactful, educational, motivational, inspirational. They're not doing any of that, right? And so this is one of those things you absolutely have to dial in. Make sure that you're publishing, but when you publish, again, you're coming from a publisher standpoint. It has to be meaningful, right? So no matter what your platform is, whether it's making YouTube videos like I'm doing here, making short videos on the likes of TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever, or just making good Facebook posts, either with long text forms, some photos attached to it, or maybe doing a Facebook Live presentation, lives on other platforms, whatever it is, make sure you're providing the goods, valuable content, and you're doing it consistently, right? Consistently and better over time. I promise you, if you put the stuff out there, you will see results over time. And a lot of the times too, the more that you're doing these activities, publishing consistently over time, you're gonna find that those assets pay you continually, right? They still do. Recently, I got another sale and commission off of one of the links that I have in my material. And this is a video that I did 3 years ago. You understand? I did a video 3 years ago. Apparently it's still valuable, it's still relevant, and I actually got some clicks on the links that were in there, and these clicks turn into sales, right? I'm tracking all of that. All of that is available to me right now. And just think, would I have gotten that sale if I didn't post that thing 3 years ago? Yeah, I wanted to post that thing 3 years ago. It meant a lot 3 years ago, and it means just as much, if not more now, because it still continues to pay me. That's the power of what happens here when you never stop publishing. So please, number one, never stop publishing. Number two, never stop promoting, right? Never stop promoting. Now, in the first point, I talked about publishing, which is just putting content out there, and I connected it to the fact that I had clickable links in my video, right? But the reality is they're not necessarily the same thing. Publishing is just putting the content out there. Promoting now is providing a way for people to go ahead and either opt into my stuff or buy my stuff, right? And so you want to make sure that you never stop promoting. And a lot of people miss this. A lot of people do miss this. A lot of people are really good at creating influence. For instance, if you think about a lot of people who want to get in the video game, right? YouTuber or what have you, they will want to become a YouTuber, right? And so they will create videos upon videos upon videos, creating content. And oftentimes the goal is to have a large amount of followers and subscribers, and then ultimately that will turn into money. While that can over time with some of the traditional ways that you have it, it's not necessarily marketing. It's not necessarily following the lines of promoting, right? I know a lot of people who are using their YouTube channels to make more money even though they have a smaller follower and subscriber amount than some others. Why? It's because of the nature of what they're promoting, right? They're actually promoting something instead of just saying, putting content out there to get eyeballs on it. Does that make sense? So you can do this one of two ways. You can become the person who just posts a bunch of stuff, and ultimately that'll turn into a large following over time, and hopefully that'll turn into revenue that is monetized. Or you can do as Mark Cuban says, which is take control of your destiny. And even though you may not have the largest amount of followers, if you're promoting good quality content, and you're also not forgetting the art of promoting and actually doing some sales and marketing, which is telling people to go click on this link, go check out this offer. If you do it that way, I believe you're going to do better over time, right? Especially since this is the game that we're talking about. You're on this channel because you want to talk about being a marketer, being an entrepreneur, and that sort of thing. So don't stop promoting. Now, I should also mention something along this point. I did not say never stop spamming, right? I did not say become a spammer. I simply said never stop promoting. And there's a difference. If you promote because you have authentic intention and you have already established some trust by way of providing content, you have a means to go ahead and some right to go ahead and promote. However, if you're just going into groups and saying, DM me if you want to know how to do this, or you're just putting your link everywhere saying, click on this, buy this, or calling up your friends out of nowhere and saying, hey, I got this opportunity, check it out. Now you're becoming a spammer. No one trusts you. No one's interested in what you have to say, and you're probably going to lose some relationships, right? You're probably going to lose some followers. You're probably going to lose, again, relationships with people, friendships, and so on. You don't want to become a spammer. You want to make sure that the people who are engaged with you are people that you've nurtured, so that when you transition to recommending a product or service that will benefit them, it's not awkward, right? The goal is not to be a spammer. The goal is to be a trusted advisor. So if there's something that you should never stop doing, it's definitely never stop promoting. Just make sure you're doing it right. Number three, and finally, never stop following up. Never stop following up. I've said this before, I'll say this again. Someone says, how long do you follow up with someone? The answer is very simple. Until they buy or until they die. Now listen, obviously I need to go ahead and put it out there before I get canceled that I'm not referring necessarily to someone dies and you're following them to the grave, right? I don't mean anything that morbid, but you kind of get the idea. The reality is you never stop until there's a reason to stop. And obviously if they unsubscribe or they tell you to stop calling them, then obviously that would make sense, right? But ultimately, it should never be a question as, should I follow up with someone? The answer is yes, always yes. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Now, how often should you follow up? Well, it actually goes back and mirrors the same principle in point number one of publishing. How often should you do it? The reality is, and the answer is, as often as you should. Simply going back to consistency. It really doesn't matter how often, as long as you're doing it regularly, consistently, and you make sure that you put your best effort into it. Now, what's really cool is that over time, you're also going to find out how your audience likes to respond to certain things. Oftentimes, your audience will tell you how often they want you to follow up with them. In other words, if you try to test different things, you're going to see the different times and the different days and the different times of day and the different situations wherein they might be more receptive to your follow-up email if that's what you're using, or something along those lines. You will learn your audience and your audience will learn you. Just make sure that you're following up regularly, consistently. Never stop until they buy something, or of course they end that relationship either by unsubscribing, telling you to stop, or who knows, maybe they do pass away. We don't wish that, but it does happen. All right. The key here, though, again, is to make sure that you're on top of it. Continue to do it because I promise you it's going to pay off. There are many deals that I have seen and I have actually landed, whether it's in my job in corporate America or as a internet marketer or as a full-time entrepreneur, where oftentimes the sale did not happen on the first call. I like to think of myself as a pretty strong one-call closer. I used to do it all the time over the phone in the boiler room. But that's not what we're doing here, and that's okay. Most of the time, it'll come after the 6th or 7th touch, right? There's actually statistics out there that are gonna go ahead and show this and prove this. Obviously, your skill level, as it improves, will bring those ratios closer together, but you get what I'm saying. Follow-up is so key because if you stop following up, you've essentially stopped the opportunity to earn the income. And so many times after that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th call or email, I finally get the sale, it makes it also worth it in the end. Especially since in a lot of the cases, those people turn into repeat customers, and then it makes it very, very much worth it, even more so. How much is it worth it for you if the person who buys your first product comes back and buys your second product that is priced double that, 3 times that, or buys maybe your 4-figure package or your 5-figure package? It does happen, my friend. Again, follow up, follow up, follow up. Never stop following up. All right, my friends, hopefully that was helpful to you. You know what to do now. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. Also, message me down below. Drop a line. What else do you want to see? What else are you wondering? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and so I can create content specific for you based on what you want to see, based on what you need to know. I'm here. Holler at your boy. Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.